Okay, quick disclaimer before we get started. The Blockmates podcast is for entertainment and informational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. The information and opinions expressed on the podcast are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Blockmates or its affiliates. Listeners are encouraged to do their own research and consult with a financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Blockmates and its affiliates are not liable for any losses or damages incurred as a result of the reliance on the information or opinions expressed on this podcast. Right, welcome back, LARPs.
We're LARPing.
We're LARPing. Hopefully everyone's seen what this is on the feed. If not, we didn't do a good enough job. Probably lost a load of followers just retweeting absolutely everyone who retweeted it, but here we are. Before we get into it, Dan, Jerry, how are you doing?
I'm good. I was wondering why I landed up losing. I had almost 10,000 followers and now I'm only down to 9. I wondered why.
I'm great. Like I'm now an official Nutkisser anti-friction cream athlete, as you can see.
I mean, it was written in the stars. It was inevitable.
Of course, it was written in the code of the contract. Like, you know, I've always wanted to. You know, I'm a big believer of this brand. You know, they've really helped me out. And then it's absolutely amazing and wonderful what a little feature on Blockmates can actually do. I mean, this week we were going to have. I don't know how appropriate this we were because it's been a bit of a crazy week. We were going to celebrate a little bit of LARP, but when I started to realise like, I got a nice bottle of whiskey and then you got some like anti-friction cream, you know, you put 2 and 2 together, and that's a perfect combination for Friday and Saturday night out, ladies and gentlemen.
I can attest to it being a brilliant combination. It works wonders. I tried it last weekend. I didn't tell you guys, but it's a banger, bro.
Oh man, absolute banger. And next week's sponsor, we won't reveal next week's sponsor, but I got something good. Just write that one down.
So we're LARPing. Lifetime access to research pass. Only Grant could have come up with that name. Only he could have. It involved leopard crawling in a rice paddy after a session of bintangs.
It stinks of too many beers, that one, doesn't it? It fucking reeks of this stuff.
Absolutely.
No, I think because it was always going to be an access pass. So just so we can kind of fill people in. The new website should be live relatively soon. All the stuff that you've gained to know and hopefully love from us in the past. So all the kind of research reports, still all going to be free. Don't worry. It's still going to be free as much as possible. There's probably going to be around 80-90% free, and then we're gonna finally do the ask for people where we will have a Blockmates research section that's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. It's going to be very reasonably priced compared to some of these other fucking LARPs out there that are trying to charge thousands of dollars a year for bog standard research. So we're going to still continue the research reports and some newsy stuff on the front end, which you see from us. Well, you've seen from us for the past over 2 years now, on this Blockmates research section, which you can obviously subscribe to through your card or pay in crypto, or the alternative is to hold lifetime access to research pass or a LARP NFT. Sign in with your wallet on the site, and then the unlock protocol, however you say it, will detect the NFT and then it'll grant you access to all areas. So that's what that's going to be. It's going to be a little bit more asset focused. So we'll get into a little bit below. So more kind of actionable information. So we're seeing this in the market. This is what this could mean. Governance alpha. So we're actually working on, there's an API from Snapshot that we can actually use to kind of populate interesting governance proposals. We spoke about them a few times on here in the past, but there's been some great trades to have over the past, 6 months, even in this market, where there's been a little governance proposal put up that's legit, and the outcome of it could be bullish or it could be bearish, and then you can make a decision on that. So we're going to be reporting on all that kind of stuff. Trend forecasting. So there's one thing in this space that drives me insane is everyone jumping on the same bandwagon around a specific kind of narrative or point. This part of the kind of Blockmates research section is all about kind of taking a step back, forecasting what's coming on the horizon, and then putting the information out there before all the kind of little third boys have got a hold of it. So There's a lot of other stuff that we're going to get into.
What did you call them? What did you call them?
Thread boys.
Thread boys. You're actually being nice today. I see you're in a good mood. Okay, carry on. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, so there'll be a lot more stuff on there. You can see it on the article what we're going to cover, and if there's anything people want covering as well, we're not dictators here. We're not kind of just doing this and saying this is what you're getting. If there's specific bespoke types of research like people want to see or styles of research, then we'll do it. We don't care. We want to kind of cater to the audience. Then there's going to be a whole lot of audio and video content on there as well. That's similar to this, but I think there's going to be a lot more just deep dives, me probably rambling, Jerry probably rambling, Dan probably rambling on specific projects that they've got their eye on, more strategy videos, more kind of trade idea videos. So we'll still be putting a lot out for free, but if you want the really, really good stuff, then this is the way to do it. So as I say, you can subscribe usually like you would any subscription, monthly, quarterly or yearly, paying crypto if you want. Or again, you've got a lifetime access pass that's just going to, again, as the name says, grant you lifetime access to the research. So not only do you get that, we've kind of the benefit of having a specific NFT collection is, well, lads, how many times have we been approached by projects over the last year where they've said, is there any way we can whitelist your community? And it's a pain in the fucking ass. Dan, I feel for you because you have to collect email addresses, wallets. You got people doing your fucking tits in all hours of the day trying to chase you up. The llamas was the best one. Like, we hit that at the park. We granted people in the community 0.1 ETH mint effectively, and that's at 3 ETH now. But there's been a load of others that want to give airdrops. They want to have a good distribution of their token to kind of trustworthy power users in DeFi. They want allow lists, they want whitelist. They just want to leverage the community and know that it's going to people who are actually doing this shit day in, day out. So it allows us to do that. It allows us for early access to beta testing, priority access to allow list, whitelist, token generation events and stuff like that. And we've got a couple coming out of the gates immediately off that. Devin from GammaSwap said, look, this would have been perfect for us to just use and have a trustworthy source of reliable beta testers. So it allows us do all this good stuff. And again, if we use like something like Collabland and Discord, so we will open Discord eventually to everyone, but there will be some kind of sectioned off channels that are exclusive for people who hold this specific NFT. That Dan's been working on wallet trackers, wallet trackers. He's the number one on Chain Sleeve at the minute. He knows every trade that's happening from every personality on the planet. So we're going to build out a load of analytics tools, and not kind of boring analytics tools that no one gives a shit about, just to make up the numbers and make it look like we're doing stuff. So real actionable, high signal, low noise analytics tools, trackers, what people are doing, whale wallet analysis and all that kind of stuff. And then we can regurgitate that back into content in audio, video and written format. So again, connecting your wallet in our Discord with that NFT will grant you access to those channels as well. And the ones I'm more interested about are the in real life events, because what we've got cooking for Token 2049 already looks great. Dan's been chasing up everyone left, right and centre to get this venue booked. But again, holding the NFTs, just immediate access to that, and there'll be lots of drinks flowing, lots of food, lots of good times happening, and
Hooters.
Yeah, and Dan wants to go to Hooters. I'm scared we'll get cancelled if we do that. But if there's anything else that people can think of, we're obviously happy to do it. We want to make it as great of a product as physically possible, and I think that going down the NFT route allows us to do that. So, have I missed anything?
No, I think you've basically covered it all, especially Hooters.
Well, considering that you've been kind of like grinding away at this thing for a better part of this year, if not the whole year, I think you've covered it all. It's pretty much been your baby. It was quite cool to see it kind of pop out. See, this is the thing, just kind of like a little bit of insight into blockmates. We actually have no idea what it is that we're doing, and when somebody does something in the team, it's always a pleasant surprise.
But dude,
everyone thinks I'm joking now, but I'm actually being dead serious.
Bro, this was that thing. Like, so Grant went MIA for about the last 5 or 6 days, right? And all of a sudden, like in all of the Discord channels, you just see this like random Twitter post with LARP, lifetime access for research parts, just come out up and out of nowhere. And then like just he completely disappeared, like drops like an absolute atomic bomb on the rest of us and like the community. There's like, no, I'm out. And he had all these people asking about questions for like, oh, when newsletter, how newsletter not working, and rah. And I'm like, bro, like, I ain't got a clue. I've just found out. I've just minted my own one of these, for Christ's sake. Like, you know, we don't get any early access or special access to it. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Grant pops up on Twitter saying, German Bratwurst. I'm like, German Bratwurst, mate, no. Newsletter, email address, no worky. Go fix it. That's
so
how we work.
We've used Tide Protocol. So basically, Jerry said there's going to be high demand for it. I was a bit more I thought there might have been 100 people or something at max. So what we've done is, because we thought we need to do it limited, because these benefits you lose the edge of the benefit if everyone in the world's got one. It makes no sense to hold one. Any of the actionable information, the trade can get crowded out. Any of the perks in real life just end up costing a fucking fortune if we do it like that. So we can't do it. So they'll have to be limited. It'll certainly be in the low to mid hundreds. We don't have a figure on it just yet. We're gauging demand by doing a series of quests using Tide Protocol. So if you've ever done a quest before, we're not asking for a lot. All we're asking is if you follow the link in the article, and it'll bring you up to this Tide Protocol user campaign. So quest for LARP part 1. There'll be 4. It'll be a 4-parter. You don't have to do them all. But I'd suggest you do the first one. I'll just leave it at that. And it's super simple. You don't have to do any backflips. You don't have to do any fucking wrestling people or anything like that. You connect your wallet. You follow the tasks. And all the tasks is follow us on Twitter on the main account. It'll prompt you on here to do it. So you have to make sure you go through here at one sector. Retweet the original post and then sign up to the newsletter. If you see the newsletter and it's not letting you complete the task, just give it 24 hours and then we'll update the CSV file that holds all the email addresses and then it'll pick it up. And then you'll be effectively be able to mint the LARP badge 1 on Arbitrum, so it's really low cost for everyone. There is a small eligibility that you have used Ethereum in the last 6 months on a specific wallet. That was just to prevent Sibylers that we've already seen come on, trying to just Sybil it and try and get one of these badges. So the way the badges are going to work, the more that you collect out of the 4, as I say, you don't need to collect them all, but I'd recommend just doing the tasks and collecting all 4. People who've got all 4 will have higher priority to the mint. People who've got 3 will get a lesser priority, 2, 1, so on. If it gets to public and we haven't minted out, then that'll just be open for people who haven't participated. We want to reward people who are kind of giving value to us, who can kind of give value back to them. So that's how that's going to work. Shoot any of us a message in Discord, tag Patches in Discord, because he's he's the guy who's kind of running this behind the scenes. But yeah, and each quest's going to run for 2 weeks. So you've got 2 weeks to do it. So if you're watching this now, link should be below to the original tweet, and just follow all the instructions. If you're stuck, message us. We're happy to help. But the responses kind of frightened me a little bit because I didn't realize there was going to be that many people do it and respond to it. And it's kind of made me think that there's not going to be enough NFTs to go around. But we just can't mint over a max of, say, 500. We just can't do it because, as I said, all the edge is lost in doing that. If we wanted to do a 10,000 mint collection, it makes no sense for the kind of use case for them. So, yeah.
I think what's really important about this whole exercise is that a lot of NFT collections, I'd say 99% of them are pretty much about one thing and one thing only, and that's to extract a whole lot of value from a number of people, and then it's done and dusted and people walk away with the money. We'd like to think, hopefully through our actions, that you will get confirmation of what it is that we're doing, is that obviously we're going to make a little bit of money out of this. There's no denying that. I mean, if we deny that, then we're just being a bunch of LARPs for real, you know. But what needs to be really clear about what it is that we're doing here is that we are of the opinion that we can make money out of this thing and we can take that money and we can actually put it to better use of providing even better information, research, writers, just the whole enchilada. Like we're on a mission here, and it's not about making an overnight buck so that we can buy a Lambo and then sell the Lambo in a year because we are fucking useless beyond that point. We want to actually do something that lasts, you know, like we want to actually do something in the space that we've been doing this for 2 years. And as far as we're concerned, we're only getting started. 2 years for a lot of these other LARPs is a very long time. And in many cases, they don't last longer than 6 months. We've been here for 2 years. We plan on being here for a lot longer than another 2. So it's all about the sustainability and the longevity of what it is that we're trying to achieve here. And what we're trying to achieve ultimately is if we're giving away 90% or even 80%, let's say we're extracting value for ourselves at 20% and we're giving back 80%. We need to get Dan out of the basement as well.
No, that's where the other 10% goes.
I just completely lost my train of thought because all I could think about is how are we going to get you out of the basement.
Yeah, for me, we need to extend our scope of analysts, writers, news writers, getting like some real heavy hitting journalists on board, and without raising capital and giving away equity in blockmates, which we're not fucking doing. There's no way to really do that unless it's going to take us a number of years, and there's no way I'm letting bankers beat us to the punch on that. So, so that's where we want to get to it. If there's anything people want building, again, just say we will build it. It doesn't matter if it's a technical tool, it's a form of research, it's a style of research. We'll do it. It's kind of the whole thing around blockmates is being built from a community first. It was a stupid little Telegram group nearly 3 years ago that there was about 11 people in, and it's always been community focused. So if there is anything people want building that are holders of NFT, the NFT, or subscribers, or even just in the community, we don't give a shit. We'll build it, and yeah, it should just be a one-stop shop for all research, media, and news, and it should be the best.
I mean, Grant, you were whinging. I think it was kind of like, I don't remember what the news item was at the time, but the journalism was just so fucking awful out there, right? And you were like, I want a news section. We need to cover news. These guys are just fucking copying and pasting. And now look at where we're at. It's kind of like, okay, well, now we need to hire news writers, and like we're going to have a news section to the new website, and it's like we're going to cover DeFi news, guys. Like we're actually going to cover real fucking news that's happening in DeFi. It's not going to be what all these other dudes are doing, you know, the copy and pastors that are charging 25 grand for an article. We're not doing that shit. You know what I mean? It's like actionable news. Andre Cronje gets his hand stuck in the fucking bread mixer and now lost a finger. He's going to report on that before anybody else does. That's what we're doing.
Brian Armstrong gets a Nike tick shaved into his balding head.
Oh my god!
Here's what this means for Coinbase. No, it's gonna be exciting. I'm really looking forward to the new site getting pushed. It just allows us so much more. So yeah, hopefully we haven't bored you for the last 18 minutes. We'll get on to some interesting points of the week.
The next first, yeah, straight away, dude. Altcoin psycho. Quote, made money off stablecoin panic before. Will gladly do it again now if anyone wants to sell me their USDT. Bang on. There we go. All of you fucking LARPs going on about USDT once again. Dude, the thing has been through the absolute ringer. It has seen things that your grandfather in the fucking Third World War didn't see. And now you're telling me that it's going to depeg because some dude has got his fucking mansion oversubscribed or overloaned or whatever the fuck people are going on about. Like, come on, guys.
I've got a conspiracy theory that I posted about this earlier. So, so there's that huge. Let me bring it up anyway. It makes a bit more sense. So, Gauntlet, who are I don't know what they fucking do. They charge protocols an awful lot of money. It's the Tarun guy from Chopping Block. They're supposedly gigabrains, but I don't fucking know. So Gauntlet have advised AAVE to freeze the CRV tokens in response to a loan by the Curve Finance founder, Michael. So the same Michael that has recently bought a fucking huge mansion, which I also have a conspiracy theory about. So that when you first seen that news, that was like a bit of media that never really finds its way into the CT echo chamber. Like what? I've never heard of a founder buying a mansion before. And I
he
thought
bought two.
Bought two, right? So he buys two.
Bought two.
What's he need two for? He's one person.
It's one. I swear, one for his missus. I thought he's definitely married, isn't he? So I remember the article being like, co-founder apes in like what? It's either 20 or 40 million to buy numerous mansions in Australia.
Right. So that is weird in and of itself. That made it to the crypto press, and it came from a local news article, and then it got picked up by like an Australian financy style, like medium-sized publication house, and then it kind of got pushed to the crypto news. So there's a thing in Trust Me, I'm Lying called Trading Up the Chain, right? And it's where you tip off small blogs, which feed into medium-sized blogs, which feed into effectively the bait at the end, which is the crypto media in this regard. So that comes out a week, and that's exactly what happened. Traded up the chain from a small independent to a medium-sized blog in Australia to a medium-sized finance company in Australia, and then like the block and people like that got all of it. So a week later from that, it comes out that 3 VC firms are suing Michael for not getting their allocation around CRV. So if that isn't kind of PR washing down to a T by using that kind of trading up the chain mechanism of media and trying to dissuade public opinion in favor of their case, then I don't know what is. Am I being like
no
off my tits there? Or
I think you're probably spot on, dude, because that's how this space operates. The most obvious is actually what's happening. And we see it day in and day out. The more obvious it is, it's exactly what's happening. It's almost like a prerequisite. It's like your entry pass to the whole fucking space.
If you click the link in the private chat, I'm not sure if that's the legitimate mansion he bought, but it's the one that we popped into a newsletter when it first dropped. Because I remember seeing this, I was just like, lol, lad just dumps like $40 bajillion worth of CRV, buys him and his wife 2 mansions in the middle of nowhere in Australia.
And it conveniently gets covered by the block. I mean,
yeah,
conveniently. So who are the VCs or self-interested parties that could possibly be involved in terms of this that are involved in the block? Is there some kind of connection?
I don't know, but at the bottom of the article, it's quite interesting. It says Australia's luxury real estate market has become an attractive destination for buyers from the crypto industry. Last year, Stake.com co-founder Edward Craven reportedly purchased an 80 million Aussie dollar mansion in Melbourne. Also last year, Stepan co-founder Jerry, I don't know how to pronounce his name, his wife is said to have purchased a 15 million Aussie dollar property in Sydney. There you go.
Yeah, but have not all these people made a shit ton of money? That's why they're purchasing. Stake.com absolutely kill it, you know. They absolutely smash it. Their revenues are absolutely incredible.
Because they got BitBoy shilling it. That's why.
Yeah, that's Stepan.
Would never fade that.
Yeah. That's Stepan co-founders from like Adelaide, I think. I told you guys that I spoke to some guy at a conference who gave them a shitload of money when everyone was telling them to go away because it was run to earn or move to earn or whatever it was. And that obviously did like thousands of X's. So this guy must be sitting pretty fucking happy at this point in time. These are just people who've sold and done well. Like Australia's killing it. What are you supposed to do?
I'm all for it.
Watch it got 0.
Yeah, that's the general consensus. Like you buy a bag and you hold it to 0, and then you can cope with all your friends in Discord. Say, I held it to 0. No, I held it to even faster to 0. It's like, no, mine was bigger than yours. Oh no, it's funny, isn't it?
Or what you do is you deposit into a lending and borrowing protocol and borrow a shitload of stablecoins against it. So you've never technically sold, even if it gets liquidated. You didn't sell; you just got liquidated.
That's hilarious.
And here's one for you. I don't know about different jurisdictions, but if you deposit it into a lending and borrowing protocol, borrow stablecoins against it, that's technically a loan, and you're not creating a tax generation event. So you haven't sold. You've took out a loan on an asset. So I'm wearing so many tinfoil hats today, it's fucking ridiculous.
And all I can think about is Aussie, oi, oi. That's literally all that's going through my brain right now.
So he's Care Finance founder Michael Egorov, however you say it, borrowed approximately 63 million USDT from a collateral of $180 million worth in CRV. So that's
just a stupid question here. Did he pay for the mansion with stable coins, or did he off ramp all of that and then pay for it?
He's probably off ramped it and then paid for it.
Fuck.
Yeah. So Gauntlet are advising AAVE to freeze CRV on AAVE2 because they're worried the protocol could come into bad debt. Because if this gets liquidated, $180 million worth of CRV on chain, there is no way on earth there's enough liquidity to sell into on that. And AAVE gets stuck with it effectively. So
but
what usually causes... Sorry, go on.
How does that... Okay, so if there's 280 million CRV tokens, so that's $180 million, right?
Let's have a look. Oh, piss off. Yeah.
But if you freeze, what does that mean? Are you no longer using CRV as collateral? I mean, what's actually the...
So what they were saying is they should... Blah, blah, blah. Gauntlet suggests that freezing CRV on AAVE2, the project can incentivize the loan holder to reduce their borrowing or diversify collateral forms, a goal to prevent AAVE from accruing bad debt due to the declining liquidity of CRV tokens on exchanges. Specifically, Gauntlet claimed that the concern is over the decrease in liquidity of the CRV token, which has gone down in the last few months. So they're saying they should prevent additional deposits and then also prevent CRV being collateral on RVV2 just to prevent this happening. But this is his wallet here. So health factor of 1.58, $172 million worth of CRV deposited in, nearly 62 million in USDT being borrowed against it. So like he's borrowed a third.
What's the liquidation point?
Just in here.
So if it's 0.58, so one is liquidation.
Yeah, so he's got what would it be? Not supposed to make people do public math.
Public math always ends in tears.
Yeah, so he's literally going to have his CRV deposit go close to or as low as the amount borrowed. So it's still a while off. Don't get me wrong, but
so that 22 is that a 22 cent CRV? Is that a 22 cent CRV?
What is it currently, like 66 or something then?
Yeah, 66 or something, yeah.
Right, so like it needs to drop by effectively that CRV value, all of that deposited into there needs to drop to 61 million that is borrowed. And then that liquidates that amount of CRV. But there's no way on earth you're going to be able to sell 171 million, particularly on chain.
No
fucking chance.
No ways.
And as that gets closer and closer and closer, people are just going to sell and it's going to mount up because they can see the on-chain short. play out effectively. Got another 50 million investing, which unlocks the backwards date, August the 12th, 2024.
This is fascinating, isn't it?
He's done it on Abra as well.
Yeah, I see that.
It's like he's got a 2-to-1 there. He's got another like 1-to-3.
So this is essentially what we're currently observing right now. This is what true degeneracy looks like. We're looking at true degeneracy.
But the fact he also cashed out and bought real life assets with it as well. It's not just like creating like a flywheel. He literally legit bought 2 mansions for him and his missus.
Dude's falling it, bro.
Mate, smart, man. You can't hate a player for that.
It's a big old wallet, that, isn't
it? 215 million United States crispy dollars.
Sat in his MetaMask. That's fucking mental.
What's that like?
Go ahead.
So, another conspiracy. Honestly, you think I was a smoker, but I'm actually not. So CRV slowly depreciating in price. People are getting scared, even though it's fucking miles away from that liquidation. So how does CRV usually pump? Usually its revenues go up. Usually a lot of people are swapping stables for what it's actually used for, and then people buy it and the price appreciates. Usually around Depeg events. It's always a good one to buy around Depeg events. What's been happening the past 24 hours?
See what we did
and
there.
It's primarily being stirred up because the curve 3 pool is being USDT has been getting deposited in, and USDC and DAI is being removed from it. So I'm just making stuff up here, but it seems very coincidental.
And CRV is up 5% on the day.
Michael's just bought a new mansion.
And it looks like it's made a W at the bottom on the 1 hour chart as well. Damn.
Because they've been printing off all these stable swaps that have happened recently because of USDT, but it's not. I don't like touch wood. I don't think there's anything to be worried about with USDT. Although stranger things have happened.
What, a $400 million shenanigan pool is going to bring down an $83 billion monster? I don't think so. I really don't think so. In fact, I'm buying tons of USDT right now. But it's not financial advice. I am an idiot. I have absolutely no fucking idea what I'm doing.
USDT to $2.
Lols.
Well,
Y2K
caught a bid as well.
Why?
Mate, I really don't like it. Okay, disclaimer, I like Y2K. I like the project. I like the team. I like their avatar. Awesome stuff. But whenever you see Y2K pump, something's about to get absolutely wrecked. You always know. You always see it. It's the one chart I will forever keep on the watch list because it's kind of like judging market sentiment.
It's the canary, dude. It's the canary in the coal mine. Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know if they've got like insider knowledge in like all of these stablecoin companies and like little spies everywhere. But mate, they know. They know.
The market just tells them though that
the market does it.
Yeah. They should have called it the Canary Finance or something, shouldn't they? That's
Canary Finance would have been, or Canary Protocol, or something fucking even more random than that.
But
Canary gonna fuck you, or something like that.
They'll probably see a load of deposits happen, and then they'll be like, "Shit, what's happening here?" Because the market will be like, "Right." So for anyone who doesn't know what you can do on Y2K, let me see if I can bring it up. They've just got a new website. Actually, it's really good. So you can bet on depegs happening. So like with USDT, for example, you'll get like a week window where you can deposit ETH, or I think you can even deposit Arbin now as well, into their market. So you can bet over like the course of like a specific epoch. It might be a week, it might be 4 days. They're all different time frames. You'd effectively be able to bet on a specific asset depegging. So when the USDC fiasco kind of played out, people had actually put some ETH into the vault and into the hedger vault. So there's two sides. There's a hedge and there's a risk. So risk depositors basically say, I'm betting the asset isn't going to depeg. And it feeds into kind of Chainlink price circles. So if it does depeg below like a specific amount, then obviously those who've risked lose the bet, and they have to pay the people who've hedged, where they say, I think this might depeg over this time frame. When USDC depegged, there was 50 times more capital in the risk side, people betting on it not depegging, than there was who bet on it depegging, some just like some Black Swan event. So some guy put in 1 ETH and got 50 ETH out because he'd just taken like a 2% bet that had happened, and it paid out. So they've now got, you'll see up on the top here, they've got a staked ETH vault. I can imagine they're going to have a load more liquid staking derivative pegged to ETH, and if they depeg, you can get paid out. So it's really interesting. It's a really good protocol. People cried about it not having been a bit too niche and not having product market fit, but as Dan says, if shit's going down, these markets go mental, and Y2K kind of, as I say, stands as a canary in the coal mine for when assets are depegging. So it's just a good product, really, really good product. Anything else happening? No? What about Prometheum?
So that's really interesting. Like really, really interesting in terms of like, who the fuck is Prometheum anyways? Like, no one's heard of these guys. But all of a sudden they're like pivotal to everything that's going on in DeFi at the moment. Please, can you just once again reveal yet another conspiracy theory, sir?
It is, isn't it? This is like 420 all over again. This says it all. Executive team.
They definitely aren't. They definitely aren't related, and they definitely aren't. They aren't slimy enough to slide up hills. No.
Mate, they do not have trustworthy faces. Like, I'm sorry, you shouldn't be rude about people like that, but they do not look like trustable people.
So I think Dan, you're correct.
Yeah, I'd hazard a guess that you might be correct on that as well. So this Matt Walsh has got a really good thread on it. If anyone wants to go and find it, but it's effectively all around this special proposed broker dealer, like SPBD for digital assets. So obviously in stocks you need broker dealer to kind of facilitate trades, and that's very, very, very heavily regulated and all that kind of jazz. So they were trying to effectively shoehorn this model in to crypto so it would suit the needs of the SEC. So they were trying to be an SEC compliant blockchain and settlement layer effectively, but crypto doesn't work like that. That's just not how orders are processed. I think, and if people have to explain that to people, that's fucking ridiculous. So it looks like these have been around for a while, and they've always pivoted towards what would be the most regulatory friendly play. And they've kind of backtracked and changed their tune an awful lot of times. And now it looks like they're trying to steer themselves in a position of like favorability towards the SEC and trying to have that regulatory capture by kind of licking Gary's boots effectively. But it looks like they're also playing ball with them to allow this to kind of happen. So as you were saying, Jerry, they've just kind of they haven't came out of nowhere. It's just they were no ones until recently. They've been around, but no one they were so irrelevant. It didn't happen. And they've been hiring and hiring and hiring like mad, even though like no one has a fucking clue who they are or what they do. So the guy's actually been dragged in front of Congress today. So this interview, if you watch it, I'm not going to play it because it's awful listening when you're listening to something whilst you're listening to something. But go and watch this. The guy's backtracking. He doesn't have a clue what he's talking about. This guy stands him up and kind of puts him to shame, really. So I don't know if this was another maneuver from the SEC kind of washing people through the system to give them favorable terms, just like they were doing to FTX. And if that is anything to go by, and they're doing it here again, there's many others. There's no way there's only two. So I'd certainly keep an eye on it, but you shouldn't fight nerds that don't have jobs and sit on Twitter all day and have time to fucking research this kind of shit, because they will win. And it just brings it to attention. So these guys have paid in excess of 1.5 million in sales commissions to NJ. What's NJ?
New Jersey.
New Jersey-based outfit called Network One Financial Securities. Network One Financial Securities have quite a regulatory track record. So they've had 25 disclosure events, which is great. Just like Prometheum, Network One Financial is a China affiliated firm. Not to say that's a good thing or a bad thing, but you know how like the US narrative is like that current present. So the team is exactly the same as this other attorneys team, which is very, very strange. Yeah, what else is the last bit that was really interesting? So what else is going on here? The bizarre that this fringe player with no business model is being held up as an example of compliance by the SEC when the actual business in the United States can't get a fair shot. The SEC sign up to have the Dems oppose Henry Thompson market structure bill. So it does feel like it's a bit of washing going on to kind of distract from what's actually going through Congress at the minute. I'm a British LARP and don't understand how this whole system works, but there's a lot of shady shit happening here, and I think it's all going to come out in the wash, because when you give people who, as I said, don't have jobs a lot of time and attention to focus on one kind of thing and drag up dirt from people that's all over the internet, you're in their arena. They will drag up shit from absolutely anyone. So just shady as fuck, isn't it, really?
Just another day in crypto, really.
Yeah. I had an interesting point about the SEC's plan being a complete shit show. They should have individually went off after people one at a time, because it's the way someone described it, and I thought it was a real good way of doing it, is if you have a class of naughty children and you tell one of them they've got detention, it might calm the others down. But if you start giving the full class detention, they just kind of go off and go fucking riot, because no one gives a shit if everyone's in the same basket. So I think they've fuck themselves in that regard, but we'll just have to see.
Interesting. The plot definitely does thicken, and you know the plot thickens when Osaka is posting at Mach 6 and doesn't stop posting, and he's been doing a lot of posting recently.
See everyone losing their shit that he took drinks your milkshake out of the
So BlackRock close to filing Bitcoin ETF. Mr. Fink sees our inherent degeneracy and wants to put us on a leash.
So that's how they want people to trade Bitcoin then.
Imagine a Bitcoin ETF. It's what the Maxis have always wanted, but they're in for a rude surprise when it does happen. It's not gonna pump their bags the way they think it is. I can tell you that right now.
I bet you this will be next week's news, because I was sat having lunch today, and like I was just recapping what's actually gone on over like the last like 3 or 4 weeks. You had BitBoys, Ben scam, then you had Ben.eth, PsyOp and Dave and Loyal and all this other shit scam. Then you had Gangster 4 coming at you from every single kind of angle. You had the Battle of the Baldies, so Coinbase versus the SEC. Then you got like the Fire Gary campaign. So now everything I've just said is now forgotten about. Then all of a sudden, like randomly, Do Kwon pops into the news just for like a token gesture. It's like, yeah, he's still, having some legal precedence. And then I think there was a guy called like Sam, like a random dude named Sam from like the Bahamas, who's apparently going through a lot of legal trouble as well. That's forgotten. Like the way this space moves, like it is absolutely mental. And now there's like LARPs on Twitter, like going from crypto into AI. And I'm just like, what is going on? What is it?
I had an opportunity to interview the CEO of Radix this week, Piers. And it was really fascinating because I actually I asked him the question around it took you guys 10 years to build this thing, right? And then you look at what's happening in the crypto space, everything's moving at light speed. It's not like the speed of sound, dude. It's moving at the speed of fucking light, the way that you just described it. And it's but hold on a second, bro. Those are the dApps. That's what's going on up here. What's going on the ground takes years, and he's right. I mean, if you look at what happened with ETH, right? They took 7 years to change from proof of freaking work to proof of stake. You want to build something that is actually fundamentally going to potentially change the way that things are going to operate. It takes fucking time. So next time people are bitching and moaning about a protocol that's taking too long to launch so that they can pump your bags, just consider this. The longer it takes, as long as they're busy and as long as they're actually putting that information out there, the better it is. Back to your point, Dan. I think a lot of this stuff is just fucking noise, dude. All it is just noise, and it's part of this process that needs to unfold around the really important shit. And the really important shit is how are we actually going to do something that's going to change the way that this world operates. And I think we lose sight of that in this space. And I'm not entirely sure how we keep the focus on the real stuff, because BitBoy and fucking Ben and those guys are not the real stuff, and neither is what's this dude's name, AAVE, who stole a whole lot of money from a protocol. These guys they are not the future of this whole space. All they are is a distraction.
And one, you want to just going back to when you say things take a long time to build.
Yes.
I don't know if I don't think there was many people with us about a year ago, because this was balls deep in the bear market, and we just stopped stuttering as we were on YouTube. But we've always been massive fans of the guys at Hero Network. And yes, it's only really now that you're seeing what they're building. So the fact that they've got, I think, 5 dApps already built, pushed out there that are working and legitimate, have utility and everything. But they've also got 9 in the pipelines that they've recently let loose on Twitter. And you can see that, what they were doing then. We had the privilege to meet them in Lisbon at Starting a Breakpoint. To see behind the scenes of what the devs were doing there, apart from drinking, was phenomenal. And to put all those pieces together now, they've spent what, a good maybe 2, 3, 4 years or whatever total building something. Now yeah, it's not going to be like the Hero Network is on Solana. It's going to be like Solana is on the Hero Network because the platform and the base that the lads over at Hero have actually built. I remember Grant saying, it's one of your biggest bets for the future. And I can imagine, based on what's happened now, where, dApps are coming to fruition, that it still probably is going to be one of your biggest bets, whilst, probably it's like you got it staked, otherwise paper hands in the middle as it all came crashing down from Sam. But, builder's going to build, dev's going to dev.
Yeah. That's what I had to do. I know what I'm like. So I just had to lock it. I can just be a bitch. So I just had to lock it, and that's it. Because I know I'll find myself in the future for it, I think.
The thing is, I did the same, and it's we know these guys, and it just completely proves my point of what I was saying. So thanks for that, Dan. And it's I think the really quality stuff. I mean, Radix, dude, has taken 10 years to build this thing. They are launching on the 31st of July, where they're going to go live with contracts, and I said it on Twitter. I'm accumulating Radix. Why? Because I think they are going to do a whole lot of stuff. Well, they already have, but they're going to do a whole lot of stuff that could potentially really change the way that blockchain works and how people can interact with blockchain. I mean, dude, they've got a wallet that just fucking does everything for you. It's completely and utterly eliminates all the shit that we currently have. It literally does. It eliminates it. All the shit that you've been going through, Dan, that won't happen on Radix. You arrive, you download the wallet on your phone, and you can operate like anything. It's dude. The guys have got this shit together, and I think the really good protocols, projects, ecosystems are the ones that take years to build with solid people who have conviction and not then that never change their tune. And those are the people that you want to be fucking paying attention to, not these guys. Oh, we raised $3 billion and we launched an ecosystem. What the fuck is Aptos, bro? Like in all honesty, what is Aptos? What is Aptos? What is that?
Honesty, is it a rhetorical question or should we answer?
Please answer what Aptos is. I really would like to know because I still can't figure it out.
So it's an L1 built on a programming language that all the cool developers are building on. It's supposed to be a little bit more intuitive to build on, so you can. The idea is the user base or the developer base of Solidity is so fucking small, nothing's ever going to get built on. So you kind of, and that's another benefit to Solana and even Cosmos as well. We're like heavily Rust based, so we can onboard. All I've heard is good things from Rust, and a lot of other good. L1s are looking to build on Rust as well. And then apparently like Aptos and Sui are using like more modern kind of programming languages to help onboard developers, because if you let developers tinker and you give them good SDKs and good toolkits and shit like that, they'll obviously build great shit. But I don't know. I think the jury's still out on that one.
So basically, we summed up Aptos versus Sui in the newsletter really well. It was basically like a dick swinging contest between two Facebook developers who managed to get a lot of money behind them. One was using the original, it was either Go or Move and programming language, and then the other one was using the other version. So one was using old, one was using new, because basically like Facebook's whole blockchain thing just like tanked, like everything does at Facebook when it comes to like the blockchain and whatever. But that's literally what it was. It was battle of the VCs, battle of the Facebook devs, and that was it. And like if devs are making cool shit, that's great. But if there's no noise around it, or it's just like only down, then it's just be like,
yeah.
But I guess I'll do well at hackathon.
Sui must use Go.
That's it.
Imagine participating and playing in the Pulse chain ecosystem, gentlemen. That's my closing statement for today's stream. Thank you very much for joining us. It's down. Dude, Hex is down 99%, and there's still people who believe in that shit.
It's going down another 99%.
Mate, did you not get your Gucci bag from it? Like, apparently with every first purchase of like Hex and Pulse chain, old Richie boy he sends out like a personalized Gucci bag.
That's what they think. I bet you that's what they sell them in their Discord. There's probably
Mate,
like
that was the pre-sale.
That's what they sell them in the Discord. It's like, if you do this, then Richard's going to send you a Gucci bag.
Oh my god! Could you imagine that? Like Richard's there, like doing an AMA, and he's on his chair, and he just swings around like, "Hey guys, Gucci." He pulls out like Gucci bags and Prada and everything. Do you imagine that? How funny would that be? And then all of a sudden, neck kissers.
So that's who our sponsor is for next week. Is going to be Hex at 99.9% down.
No, mate, Gucci, not Hex. Mate, we going places, mate. We're going places. Gucci, Prada, Louis Vuitton, Balenciaga, all those other brands that you've never heard of, but you know it's expensive because you've never heard of it.
Yeah, we could even make our own brand.
Yeah, Blockmates merch coming soon.
Cool, boys. I'm away for a while. I'll see you guys when I get back. I might not even come back. Who knows? I mean, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go and spend some time on the beach and just unwind a bit. So I'll see you guys when I get back.
All right, everything will be on fire.
Yep. Enjoy.
All right, take it easy, everyone. The links for the tweet for the LARP post is below. We'll leave the Tide Protocol links below as well. Yeah. See you next time.